Welcome back to Socks and Sandals, and I have a new camera. Unfortunately, it is an older camera. It's an old Sony Handycam. So, of course, you guys are seeing the video. It's in like 16 by 9 or whatever. But I now have a camera again with a forward facing screen, so I can see I'm in frame. But we're going to do, of course, another pickups video. Surprisingly, I actually have enough Xbox Series X games that I deemed it necessary to separate it from the Xbox One. So we're finally like collecting modern games now for the current console generation. So I guess we'll just get started with the one that I didn't get the most of, and that would be PS5. I only have one PS5 game, and it's actually a game I think I talked about in the last pickups video. It's the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remaster, but Best Buy was having a sale. This was like around Black Friday. They were having a sale on the collector's edition. I think it was like $29.99, and I mean, unfortunately, it's got a thing in here, like the box is crushed a little bit. But the only reason I even bought this was for this steelbook. Yeah, it's classic Laura from the original Tomb Raider. Just kind of, not as many or more polygons, so her features are more defined. But yeah, that's the only reason I bought it, is for the steelbook, because I already had it on the Xbox Series X. So, and $29.99 ain't bad for the deluxe edition. But yeah, it came with the steelbook, this like nice gold box, but it also came with a little. Apparently, it's an exploration map book. It's so each location, and then it's got like all of the collectibles on the map. So, hell, when I play through it, I might use this. I have the old Tomb Raider 3 strategy guide. Might be better to use this instead. It's also got some DLC code, but I don't ever actually intend to open up this PS5 version of the game. Like I said, it was just for the steelbook. It's the soundtrack. It's the official soundtrack for the game. Probably loads of like temple sounds, like tribal drums and such. So that would be exciting. So next up is PS4, and this first game, I have been trying to get this game for a while. I never find it out in the wild. I've just had it like saved to my watch list on eBay. I believe it was either the Radical one, which is Radical Reggie, or Metal Jesus Rocks talked about it. So it's Little Witch No Beta. And what they described it as is like an anime Dark Souls. Like, it's the Dark Souls style combat, but you play as this cute anime witch girl. So that's just right up my alley. So I had it saved on eBay a few times, but it would always end up selling. And finally, I just decided to go ahead and buy it. I think, like, what did I pay? I think I paid like $39.99 for it. Which, for a game, when did this come out? Well, it came out in 2023? So it's not that old. I thought it was like a launch title for the PS4. Because I've never heard of it until Metal Jesus Rocks talked about it. So $30 for a game that came out 3 years ago isn't too bad. Well, 40. So that's not too bad. But I don't know. I was always just hesitant to pay that much for just a game because of the artwork on the cover. I like the Dark Souls style combat, but really the only one I've played to completion is Code Vein. I've put a lot of time into Dark Souls 3, but I've never finished it. So to spend $40 on a game just for the art style and a style of combat I'm not really used to, it was like I said, I was kind of hesitant, but I finally decided to get it because for the PS4, I like to get the unusual games. For basically everything else, it's the Xbox One Series X. But PS4, I like, the Japanese anime style games, the exclusive to the PlayStation JRPGs, stuff like that. I say that, and I bought a game that I think I only own it twice because I don't have the 360 version. But I was at GameStop in Balk Springs, and I just wanted to go to GameStop. They weren't having a sale or anything, but I just got an itch to go game hunting. So we went to GameStop in Balk Springs, Nathan and I picked up the Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th Anniversary Edition. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, out of the 3 reboots, is my favorite. I do already own this on the Xbox One. I own all of the DLC, which is what I think this comes with. Yeah, new chapter, Blood Ties, new co-op, Endurance. So it doesn't include the... I think there's the Baba Yaga DLC and something else that came out after this release. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you may do so in the comments, Rise of Tomb Raider was an exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem for I think a year. And then after that year is up, Rise of Tomb Raider released on PS4 with this version, which I'm kind of upset about because why did the PS4? I mean, Tomb Raider was a PlayStation exclusive until 2000, and when did Legend come out? 2007, I think. I'm just gonna say 2007. So I guess that's why they got the special 20th anniversary. But so it comes with a slipcover, of course. But it's also, this is like filled with, so like the Yakuza, was it Song of Life art edition? It's filled with like fan art of Tomb Raider, which is freaking amazing. I would call myself a Tomb Raider fan with all of the Tomb Raider crap I have, but yeah, this is the only reason I wanted it. I wish the Xbox version had this, but I like PS4 all right. I don't think I'm ever going to play Rise of Tomb Raider on the PS4, but I do like the slipcover, the blue on here, and then of course the art book. So that was the whole reason I got it. I believe I paid $14.99 for it. I always find like this, just I think I found it a few times at like Half Price Books, Game Exchange, and stuff, but it never has the slipcover. And if I'm going to buy something that I already own, for one, it needs to be a decent price, and two, it needs to be complete. Like, of course, the art book, is really the only reason I wanted it. But, again, I already own it on the Xbox One. I already own all the DLC. So, it's also got VR support for Blood Ties, which I think is the mode where you can explore Croft Manor. It's like disheveled. Oh, it does have the Baba Yaga. So this includes everything. Alright, so next up, I guess we'll do... Fuck it, we'll do Xbox One. So, I do not like Need for Speed. And the only reason I decided to keep... Well, there's a few reasons. The only reason I decided to keep Need for Speed Rivals is it came in... So, I've mentioned it before, but I'm subscribed to Video Games Monthly, which is one of those loot crate things. I don't even know if is it loot crate or loot box? Whatever the hell it used to be called. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But it's a monthly subscription service, and they just you check what games you want to collect for, and they'll send you, I think the tiers are like 3 games, 4 games, and 5 games. I think that's what it is. But whichever one you subscribe to, they'll send you 3 games of a mixed variety of whatever you check that you collect for. And I have Xbox One, 360, original Xbox, PS1, and PS3 and PS4, I believe, checked. So they sent me Need for Speed Rivals. I'm not a fan of the Need for Speed racing formula. I don't like how floaty the cars feel. I don't like the crash cam. But because it came in that box and it's not worth anything, I decided to keep it. I do like racing games, and apparently this one you can play as the cops or the, I don't know, people who run from the cops, criminals, I guess. So I figured since it isn't worth anything, it's not even worth trade fodder. It is a racing game. I'd give it a shot. I do have, like, I think this came out when the Need for Speed movie came out. I got this at GameStop, I think last year during the Black Friday sale. I have yet to play this, but this one has no online achievements, so it would be a at least doable full completion. So that's why I've held on to this one. So I figured I might as well at least give it a shot, and then who knows? It might be. It's Ghost, which they did Need for Speed Most Wanted, the like reboot, I believe. So that's why I have that. And then I was in Houston for work, and they have a local game shop there. They were doing and I've talked about this in I think the last pickups video when I talked about me accidentally buying NASCAR Heat for the second time. They were doing I think like buy three get one free on anything $10 and lower. So just to reiterate, I went there and I was going to get Evil Within, Body Count, and I had that NASCAR Heat game. Those were the three I was going to buy, but when I opened Evil Within, there wasn't anything in the case, which Evil Within is actually going to be coming up. So instead, I just had the NASCAR Heat and Body Count. Was like, if I buy these two, can I just get this case free? So that's what happened. But I already had NASCAR Heat. I checked my CLZ when I got back to the hotel, and sure enough, yeah, I had it. So I went back, and they also had a copy of the Return to Arkham series on Xbox One. But by the time I went back the next day, it was already gone. So instead, I got Homefront The Revolution. Not the most exciting game. I haven't played the original Homefront. I hear this one isn't as good, but it is a first-person shooter. I'm kind of more forgiving for those as long as the gunplay feels good. I don't know what the achievements look like for this one, so I don't know if it could be fully completed. Again, the same time I was in Houston, there was a pawn shop right next to the hotel. I went in there and they had a bunch of 360 games. They had Need for Speed Carbon, but they were selling all of the 360 games they had with a 360 console bundle. They wanted $80 for all of it, which wasn't bad, but I didn't need another 360 and I didn't want to spend all of my per diem just, the fucking first day I'm in Houston when I had a whole week. But instead they had some Xbox One games and they had Dead by Daylight. I like Dead by Daylight. I haven't played it in a minute, but there was a time where I was really into Dead by Daylight. Like, I completed an entire, I don't know, Blood Tree Battle Pass, whatever the fuck Dead by Daylight calls it. I was like going for all of the Adept survivors. I've only done one Adept killer, which Adept is the achievement earned to play as a survivor using only their perks. And then it's the same for the killer. The only killer I've done Adept on is Plague, because that was my favorite killer. But I was doing all the Adept survivors. I did Lori, I did Jake, I did Leon. I did a bunch of them and then just kind of fell out of it. I think Behavior needs to kind of move on from Dead by Daylight. It's kind of gotten ridiculous now with the number of killers they keep releasing and perks and all that. But I did like Dead by Daylight, so I thought having a physical copy of it would be cool. I think the receipt should be in here. Nope, it isn't. I only paid $8 for it. So not a bad deal. And then, so this next game, Nathan and I went to Half Price Books this was, I think, just before Christmas. We went to Half Price Books in Rockwall. That is the closest Half Price Books location to us. Now that the Mesquite location is closed down, the Cedar Hill location is closed down, Rockwall is the closest Half Price Books. So I picked up Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. I do already have it's Amalur. I do already have Kingdoms of Amalur on the 360, but the DLC has been delisted, so if I did want to go for a full completion on it, I wouldn't be able to do so. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick up the Xbox One version because this includes all of the DLC. From the minds of the best-selling author R.A. Salvatore, Spawn creator Todd McFarlane, and Elder Scrolls Oblivion lead designer Ken Rolston, comes Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. Remastered with stunning visuals and refined gameplay, Re-Reckoning delivers intense, customizable RPG combat inside a sprawling game world. Next up, I caught the tail end. So this is right after Christmas. GameStop started doing a buy two get one on, I think, all pre-owned games. So I caught the tail end of it. My local GameStop is in Lancaster. It's not the greatest location. They didn't really have a lot there. But I ended up getting Resident Evil Origins collection. I have, let's see, I've got Resident Evil 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 on the 360. 7 Village. So I figured having the first one and Resident Evil 0 would just like add. Oh, I also have Revelations on the 360. So really, all I'm missing that has a physical release on something that I'm going to play, not the Dreamcast. I mean, I guess, did Code Veronica release on the PS1? It may have. I don't know. It might. I know it's on the PS2, but I don't play PS2. So for the consoles that I have, I'm only missing Revelations 2 and Resident Evil. So I figured might as well. I played a little bit of Zero. I have the digital version. It was like on sale for Xbox. And I've watched gameplay. Like, I've watched several people play the first Resident Evil, but I myself have never actually played it. So having this, I might actually give it a shot. I started gaming well after the whole tank controls and fixed camera angles. So that's not really, I have no nostalgia for that. To me, that is just a hindrance. There's a reason why we don't use tank controls and fixed camera angles anymore. I mean, unless, you're one of those game developers that's nostalgic for it. But I have that, and then in that same sale, I got Black Sad Under the Skin. The artwork for this is kind of off-putting. I don't know if you're going to be able to see him, but that cat man there, Black Sad, that's too human, but with animalistic features to me. I don't really like that, but it's a detective game. It's made by Microids, which also did the Agatha Christie game, the ABC Murders. So I guess they're big on the point and click kind of investigative games. So I thought that would be a at least interesting thing because I do like investigative games. So to fill out the buy two get one, I got that one, but it at least is somewhat interesting. Like I said, there wasn't much there that I was interested in. I was going to get the Castlevania or the Dead Cells X Castlevania game on PS5, but it was $29.99. It was pre-owned, so it would have been in the sale, but I couldn't find anything else in the store for $20.99 to maximize the sale value. So I ended up with, I think, let's see, the receipt will be in one of these that I got. Yeah, it's in this one. So, Resident Evil Origins, I paid $18.99 for. And then Black Sad was the game I got for free. And then another game coming up will be the second game that was in the deal. Like I said, my local GameStop isn't really the greatest, but, you know, sometimes I can go in there and find some cool deals. So this next one isn't the game I got in the sale. It's Vampire. So this is made by Don't Nod, which is probably, I guess at this point, they would be considered a AA developer. They're probably my favorite AA developer. So they did the first two Life is Strange games. They did Remember Me. They did Vampire, Twin Mirror, which I never played. I confused that with Black Mirror. They also did Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, which I have played and is probably my favorite game of 2024. I played Vampire when it was free with Game Pass. It might still be on Game Pass. And I kind of got tired of playing it because you can talk to literally everyone. Everyone has just literal minutes of dialogue and I didn't know who was like someone I could talk to that would give me side quests or story stuff. So it was kind of like The Witcher 3. It just got to be too much. But after having played Banishers, I thought I could go back and play Vampire because it's kind of the same combat-wise and the same sort of dialogue with characters. Like, literally everybody is named. Everybody will have a full-on conversation with you in Banishers. Like, the world of... It may have been because it was ghost stories and you were a Banisher. You got to investigate stuff. So that may have been why I enjoyed Banishers so much more than Vampire. But I thought I would go back to their game that is very similar to Banishers. And like I said, Remember Me is, you know, probably one of my favorite hidden gems. Not a lot of people gave it a chance. But I like it when Don't Nod does the more... It's not just a story, you know, kind of like Life is Strange or Twin Mirror. There's actual, pardon me for saying, gameplay to it. Like, you have combat, you have a skill tree, you know, stuff like that. So I figure I'd go back and give this one more of a chance. Plus, it would be nice, because like I said previously, I want to get my completion rate up to 75% this year. So it would be a nice cleanup to go back and do this. And as mentioned before, we have The Evil Within. This would have been with all of the other games that I got in Houston, but like I said, it was just the sleeve and case, so I didn't add it to the list until I actually got the game, which I bought at Game Exchange the same time I bought Vampire, which I think the receipt for Game Exchange will be in this one. It wasn't expensive. So Vampire I paid $11.99 for, and The Evil Within I paid $4.99 for, which is about the like going rate for Evil Within. But if I had ordered it off of eBay, like disc only, it would have been more with shipping to just get the disc. So I ended up buying, and I think it was disc only anyways, because it was just a Game Exchange case. Like, it didn't have the artwork, so that kind of worked out. But I finally got the actual disc to complete my copy here, and I now have The Evil Within. When I went to GameStop to do the buy two get one, I picked it up thinking it was Evil Within, though the case, it was very clearly Evil Within 2, but I didn't notice until I got up to the counter. He rang it up, and I looked at the card reader, and it said Evil Within 2. I was like, oh, no, I don't need that. So I ended up getting, I guess it's in Series X. It'll be mentioned in the Series X thing instead of Evil Within 2. And then at the same time, I bought Rise of Tomb Raider 20th Anniversary. I got Shining Resonance Refrain. I always want to call this Resonance of Fate, which is a completely different game on the Xbox 360. I wish my R's were over here, but it kind of doesn't work out that way because of alphabetical order. But yeah, it's an anime game. It's a JRPG. I believe it's like Persona. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but I think it's that bottom. It would be y'all's right. That bottom right image there is referring to grow your relationships with your teammates during events and dates. So you can actually have romantic relationships with your party members, much like Persona, which is one of my favorite parts of the Persona series. That one is completely up my alley with the anime aesthetic, the dating sim elements, and it's a JRPG. So I definitely wanted that. And this one was the most expensive game. Yeah, it was $18.98. I had my $5 off coupon. I had a bunch of rewards points. So when I ended up using all of that, for the 3 games I bought there, I ended up only paying $6.48. Oh, I also had a gift card that had $14 left on it. So that's neat. Alright, so I guess next up, since it's on this side, we'll do the Xbox 360. So this first game is an original, like, achievement hunting game for the 360. It's Terminator Salvation. As long as you play this game on hard, you will unlock every achievement. I never played it, but way back when Nathan and I were doing our achievement battle, our gamer score battle with each other, he actually played this and got the 1,000 gamer score. Nathan, much like I was back then, he never really went for all achievements, but he was able to actually do this. So if Nathan can do it, I can do it. I figure I can save this for another achievement challenge I'm planning to do after the difficulty challenge, which is slow going at this point. I decided to take a break from the challenge to work on something that I thought I would get done very quickly, and that didn't happen. My battery is about to die, so 1 second. After about an hour of charging the battery, we are back. Let's continue with the Xbox 360. So another game that came in the video games monthly box. Again, basically worthless, but you know, I just wipe out in the zone. It's a Kinect game. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything as far as trade credit for this, and I'm sure nobody else wants it, so I decided to keep it. Made by Behavior, which, speaking of Behavior, they did the Dead by Daylight, so that is something. Wipeout was a show that was on ABC. I don't know how you play the game with Kinect. It doesn't look like an easy full completion. I think it requires you to like play 4-player co-op to get at least one of the achievements. So I don't know what other 3 people I can find to even attempt this, but again, it wasn't worth trading in, so I kept it. Yeah, I think this is the last game I got from GameStop when I bought Shining Resonance, and that is Mini Ninjas. I just noticed my case for this is cracked, so I'll have to replace the case. I have looked at this achievement list, and it looks pretty doable as well. It's made by IO Interactive, which they are more presently known for the Hitman trilogy. The like Hitman, Hitman 2, and then Hitman something about the world. I don't know. 6 playable mini ninja characters armed with the authentic ninja abilities and skills. It's just one of those games you don't really see too often, so I grabbed it. I also got this at Game Exchange the same time I got Evil Within and what was Vampire. It's Quantum of Solace. So I think the only Bond game I'm missing for the 360 now is 007 Legends. Bloodstone is the one people like to talk about, but I had Bloodstone already. I also have the GoldenEye Reloaded thing. So I figured why not pick up Quantum of Solace. I think it was like $7.99. This one is what I hear is like the best game for Xbox 360 Connect, and it's the Gunstringer. And unfortunately, this full completion is no longer obtainable because it had DLC that has since been delisted because the Xbox 360 store got taken down. The original 1000 gamer score is still obtainable, but I won't be able to get all achievements for it. But yeah, I hear this one's the best to play for the Kinect, so I wanted to get it. I have enjoyed the few games I have played for the Kinect. Surprisingly, Kinect Rush was actually pretty fun, and I do have ambitions to do Rise of Nightmares full completion. I just don't know when I will do that, as I've got currently too many irons in the fire. So I think I would like to at least get the base 1000 gamer score for the Gunstringer. It's unfortunate that you can't play the DLC, but you know, what can you do? This next game I got while I was in San Antonio for more work. Like I said previously, whenever I go out of town for work or whatever, I like to just search up, local game stores. It's kind of like my way of getting a souvenir. So I searched up a game store in San Antonio. It was like pretty near the Riverwalk. And like the store was completely crammed with crap, basically. The front part was all like, it was all like game console peripherals, game consoles, just like stacked, just fucking like horde style. And then to the left of that was like records and CDs and such. There was one path you could walk through it. It was so crammed. And then in a separate room of the shop were the actual games, and they had counters, and again, just one path to walk, and you couldn't go behind the counters. You had to like stand in front of them and try and read. But I saw Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. From what I could see, they also had like the special edition of Final Fantasy 13, which I was thinking about getting, but after they told me the price of this one, I would have hated to have heard what they were trying to sell the collector's edition of Final Fantasy 13. I paid $20 for this, and I think it only goes for like $11. But again, it was a souvenir. I have the Finn and Jake Investigations for the 360, so the only Adventure Time game I'm missing on the 360 is Explore the Dungeon, because I don't know. I have played that one. It's not the greatest, but I've got the other two Adventure Time games. I'll, if I find it on eBay or whatever relatively cheap, I'll pick it up eventually. But this one is kind of like, it looks just like Explore the Dungeon, because I don't know. Explore the Dungeon was like a top-down kind of dungeon crawler, and this one's in the same vein, except I guess it's like a Zelda clone. You're not just trapped in a dungeon. It looks like you can go into different environments. But yeah, I think the Finn and Jake Investigations is probably the best out of these three that are on the 360. But I have heard, I think from Metal Jesus Rocks, that this one is actually fairly decent. And I don't see this game as often as the other two. So I thought, why not grab it there? I was trying to like look at the PS4 and Xbox One there, but having to, like, I wear glasses, so my eyesight isn't that great. It's definitely not as bad as Nathan's. Having to like look over a counter while cramped, and then when more people came in, you just kind of wanted to get out of there. I can like understand that store if maybe the stuff was at least priced at what it was going for on eBay, like market value, but it was an upcharge of market value, and it's crammed. Like, there's a reason you've got so much crap, is because no one wants to buy it. I can't even remember the name of the store, but I was wearing a PlayStation shirt at the time, and I bought a 360 game, and he commented on it, and I was like, yeah, I found this at a thrift store at a decent price. Anyway, so another game I got from the Rockwall Half Price Books. This is Child of Eden. Apparently, the guy that made this also made Rez, which I have on the cubed like compilation disc. I bought this. I paid $8 for this, and this is so like when the 360 FOMO first started, I had this saved in my Mercari cart, and I was like, I might want to go ahead and buy that now before it is ridiculous, because these are all Xbox Live games, and when the store shut down, you can't play these anymore. So I knew this one was going to go up. I think it's like, at one point it was like 40 something dollars. I think it's at like 23 now, but I definitely feel good only having paid 8 for it. But I hear people like Rez, and I've heard a lot more of the YouTubers I watch talk about Child of Eden. A lot of them say it's good. One of them I watched said that it made him motion sick. I have motion sickness, so I don't know if I'll be able to tolerate it, but I figure I'd give it a shot. It was only $4.99, so not too bad there. It is Ubisoft too, so not the best feeling that. This next game, while I was in Houston, so next to the pawn shop is a Dollar General. I'd gone there to get batteries because the batteries in my controller were dying. And as I'm standing in line to buy my batteries, I look up behind the counter, and on top of the shelf are brand new Xbox 360 games. They had the Skyrim like re-release when the Xbox One came out. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, so like when the Xbox One came out, they released a lot of the backwards compatible games from 360. They re-released them in this like where it'll say Xbox One and 360 at the top. They had the Skyrim version of that. They had some sort of sports game, probably like a Madden or something. But they also had Angry Birds Star Wars. I mean, not the most exciting thing, but I just thought it was crazy to go into a Dollar General and find brand new Xbox 360 games. I paid $10 for it, which is about all it's worth. I don't know if I'll ever open it because I think it was just cool. But, you know, I liked Angry Birds, you know, just like everybody when Angry Birds was the new hotness, played it on the iPod Touch. Angry Birds is a hard game, so I don't think it's going to be an easy full completion. I don't know of any reason why I would actually open this, but if that need arises, I'll open it. I mean, it ain't worth anything, but I just kind of want to keep it sealed just for the novelty of finding it in a Dollar General in 2024 at that time. That was just neat. And then the last game I bought in Houston at that game store, the one that was doing the buy 3 get 1 free. This is Body Count. So he had 2 copies of this in the Xbox 360 section. This one was like in a bin on the floor, and he had it marked, I think, at like $8. And the other one was at $12. So obviously I got the cheaper one. It's got a manual. The disc looks fine, but I think right now Body Count is like $20 something. So at 12 it would have been a deal, but the reason I grabbed the $8 one is because I intended to do it for the buy 3 get 1, but I didn't end up getting a free game, I guess, unless you count the case for Evil Within. But apparently this is like a spiritual successor to Black, which is a original Xbox game. I hear that the gunplay in this one isn't as good as it is in Black. I've never played Black. I've never played this, so I wouldn't know. It is one of those that, again, when 360 FOMO started, everybody was like, Body Count, and I haven't seen it since. So seeing 2 copies in a store in Houston, again, my souvenir kind of thing, I grabbed it. And last but not least, we have the Series X. And like I mentioned, I've gotten so much Series X, this pickups, that it warrants to be separated from Xbox One. So a lot of these I got for Christmas. So this is like the Christmas episode, but in March, because that's just the way my scheduling has landed it. So I talked about this first game in my limited run kind of sucks. It's Clock Tower. I do intend to play this eventually. I would like to do an achievement hunt tours on it. I said a lot about it in the limited run video, but it's classic Japanese survival horror. It originally released on the Super Famicom. I don't know if it came to the States for the SNES. I think it was Japanese exclusive until, I guess, what should be Clock Tower 2 that we got on the PS1. I think that's the first Clock Tower we actually got. But, yeah, I would like to play this one. And then next up, I have yet to play this, obviously, because it's still sealed. This is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I hear this is really good. My issue right now with starting new games is, like I said, I'm trying to get my achievement percentage up. So I'm trying to play a lot of games that I've started and am close to getting all the achievements, or like what I did with the Variety Hour, just got a 100 gamer score and quit playing. That kind of really tanked my percentage. So I'm trying to play those before starting a new game, because once you earn an achievement in a new game, the average is changed. So your percentage goes down. So I'm trying to get it up to a comfortable number to where I can start playing new games like Clock Tower or Indiana Jones or several of the other games I got here for Christmas. Eventually, I will get around to those. And this next one, so I believe this is the last game I actually got in Houston. I was out actually Christmas shopping. I'd gone to Burlington Coat Factory to purchase clothes for my brother's son, and there was a GameStop next door. So I went in, and I've actually been looking for this because Life is Strange, the first Life is Strange, is probably my favorite, but this one is like a close contender. Life is Strange True Colors was fantastic because Life is Strange 2 utterly sucked. I could not stand Life is Strange 2, but True Colors is a really good game. I like all of the characters. The story is fairly decent. I'm not going to say I like it as much as the first Life is Strange, but I think I'm biased to the first Life is Strange because it involves time travel. And anything involving time travel is like my bag. It was a nice return to a decent Life is Strange after Life is Strange 2. Before the Storm was okay, kind of different because you're playing as someone that doesn't have powers. You're playing as Chloe Price. But yeah, True Colors was fantastic. So I wanted a physical copy. I do already have all of the achievements for this. I wanted a physical copy because I just played it digitally. I think it was on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. And this next game is the first game I got for Christmas. My dad bought me this. This is the I Am 8-Bit edition of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I did not know this had an Xbox Series X release because I was originally going to buy it on PS5. Thankfully, GameStop, the local one I went to, didn't have the game. They had the case on the shelf, but they didn't have the game. My dad bought me the I Am 8-Bit edition. It comes with this slip cover and special artwork. So this is like a love letter to Jet Set Radio. What it looks like to me is like an anime Tony Hawk, because there are characters that skateboard in this. I never played Jet Set Radio, but I have seen footage of this, and there are skateboarding characters. I think there's a rollerblade dude and someone on a bicycle, like a BMX bike. It just looks like anime Tony Hawk to me, and I love the Tony Hawk games, so I wanted this. So this is what I told my dad to get me for Christmas. Again, it's sealed because achievement percentages. And this next game my sister got me for Christmas. I've been wanting this one as well since it got announced that they would release an Ultimate Edition. It's Cyberpunk 2077, the Ultimate Edition. It comes with the Phantom Liberty DLC, and I believe that the Series X version is the only way to get the actual DLC on disc. I think the PS5 version, you still have to download it. But it comes with, it's 3 discs, which is crazy for a Series X game. That's 3 fucking Blu-rays. Like, how big is this game? Like, how much data does it actually take up? But I'll eventually get to this one as well. I think now that the Phantom Liberty DLC has come out, and since CD Projekt Red has, fixed it, it's a decent game now. I hear people really enjoy it now. It sucks that it didn't release in that state, but, that's just modern gaming. But got the Ultimate Edition. And then another game I bought in San Antonio, I went to, my coworker was going to the mall to get a Vans gift card for their kid, and I thought I'd run by the GameStop just cause, and they had Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I believe it was on sale for $24.99. That's honestly a hell of a deal. At least at the time it was. I don't know what it's going for now, but Like a Dragon, the first game where you play as Kasuga, is my favorite in the Yakuza series. So this is a continuation of that story. I don't know when I will get around to actually play this one, because this one is an RPG. Unlike the other Yakuza games before Like a Dragon, where they're just beat 'em ups, this one is an RPG. I think I would like to get the remaining achievements I have for Like a Dragon before I start this one. Hell, this might end up being a playthrough on the channel. I used to have, before the channel got deleted, a playthrough of Like a Dragon, but that one is just lost to the ether. So maybe after doing the cleanup for Like a Dragon, I'll start a playthrough on this one. And this is the last game I got for the buy two get one sale at GameStop. This is In Sound Mind. This is the one game I picked up just to kind of complete the sale. I have heard people talk about it. It doesn't look the greatest on the back. I don't know if you can see any of those screenshots, but it's apparently a horror game. It just looks like one of those games that is completely just style over substance. Your Artful Escapes, your Sea of Solitude. I hear people really like Journey. I'm just not that big into art games. It's just not my deal. The thing that grabbed me, though, is that the soundtrack is done by The Living Tombstone. And anyone in the Brony community will remember The Living Tombstone started out as someone who made My Little Pony songs. Like, they did just kind of, like, I don't know if anybody's ever heard it, but Discord, been howling at the moon. I don't remember the lyrics to it. I think it's like sleeping in the middle of a sunny afternoon or something like that. That was The Living Tombstone. So that's kind of cool to see that they're actually, doing stuff now. They've actually gotten into the actual, like, real. I'm not going to say that the My Little Pony music wasn't real music, but I always find it cool that people that go from YouTube and actually make it into the big leagues, as it were. I remember, and she was a voice actor before, but let me see if I can remember her name. So, another My Little Pony thing. The Dot Move series, the voice of Twilight Sparkle in that. She voices 2B now. Hold on. I'm going to grab my phone. I got to look it up. I think it's Kira Buckland. So, Kira Buckland from, I think it was like Swag.move. She voiced Twilight Sparkle in that. And that was the first time I had ever heard of Kira Buckland. She was a voice actress before then. When I played Nier Automata, I noticed that Kira Buckland voices 2B. And I thought that she had gone from YouTube and actually made it into, I keep wanting to say actual voice acting. YouTube voice actors are voice actors. But I don't know, I guess getting more compensation, more recognition for your work. Apparently she was already a voice actress. That was just a real surprising thing to me. Anyway, apparently it includes a digital art book and the soundtrack. But yeah, in Sound Mind, I just kind of got to complete the buy two get one, but it was just cool seeing the living tombstone. And then this last one I got at the game exchange that's near my work. Game exchange, GameStop. And it's the Stalker 2 Steelbook. I think I paid $49.99 for this. Stalker 2, when it released, it had real bad frame rate issues on the Series X. I mean, I wasn't going to play it when it came out anyways, but it is a really good looking game. Ray tracing and all of that hoopla. But the Steelbook, it's not sealed anymore, but it was brand new when I got it. It was actually $39.99. Yeah, the like collector's edition here comes with this envelope that's got a bunch of goodies in it. I think it's like postcards, a map, stuff like that. Day one bonus DLC. But I think that Steelbook is like awesome. Again, I will get around to Stalker 2 eventually. I have no idea when, but hell, if there's any demand to start any of these games, leave them in the comments down below. But yeah, that's all of the pickups I got basically for Christmas. It was around November, December. So it's basically the new year will be the next page. I know this is coming out in March, but again, this is the way my upload schedule is. But if there are any games here you would like to see videos on, leave them in the comments down below. If you've played any of these, tell me what your thoughts are. And if you liked the video, consider subscribing or leaving a like. I do pickups videos like this, but my main focus, at least for right now, is achievement hunting, completing a lot of games. I have not a backlog. I mean, I am working on my backlog as well, but clean up on, completing a lot of games that I got to do clean up on, where I'm currently working on the difficulty challenge. And that's another part of the reason why I don't want to start new games, because every game in the difficulty challenge is a game I have no gamer score in. So those will basically be ratios added, throwing my completion average off. So that's why I'm kind of holding off on brand new games. But other than that, leave a like and check back next time for whatever I do. Bye-bye.